Hey everybody, welcome back to The Visual Historian. My name is George Kushler, owner of GK Photography here in New Orleans. Let me lower the music a pinch. Today, I woke up thinking about how did I get here? How did I get to 31 years self-employed? I keep on thinking back of that younger version of me and the aspirations I had in the beginning, and so many things I have done or where I am right now seemed like such a long shot. When you're 23 years old and you're thinking about what job, what career, what one thing am I going to do the rest of my life? Like my father was in sales. He worked at Sears for, I believe, 35 years. I did too a couple of years. That's where I learned a lot of my customer service from, honestly. So there's so many instances in your life that is going to keep adding into your future. Future you is going to look backwards and think about all of the hard stuff, the good stuff, the fun stuff, all of your instances, even your failures, make you who you are today. So I was speaking with a friend of mine the other day, and he said, GK, 31, man, 31 years. He goes, if you were to tell a newer photographer anything, if you were to guide them with something, like what would that be? Like, what would you tell yourself if you could speak to 23-year-old George, what to do? And I had to think about that. So this morning when I woke up, I was like, I want to do a podcast today, but I don't know what's my topic. And then I was thinking about all of this stuff. So today's podcast is dedicated to the brand new 5 years and younger in business photographer. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter your color. I don't give a darn if you're a male or female, you live in the United States or you don't. It really doesn't matter. There's a huge aspect of being in business that people don't normally talk about. If you're on Threads or X or Facebook or whatever it is, you're on a group of photographers and you're talking about stuff, they're usually talking about gear. Now I am a full-blown shoot manual kind of guy, but I don't talk down to people because they don't. It's just how I shoot. So many people don't know how to type and text correctly, and it just sounds deflating instead of just a regular old conversation. Well, the one thing that people are not talking about is the human relationship side of being in business, and I'm talking to photographers here. If you are just, if your parents are selling a widget and they're making $1 bazillion selling a widget, that's fantastic. But they still have to deal with people to some degree to get into the Walmart or to get into a store or the ad maid or the website. You're still dealing with people. Photographers deal with people in a very unique way. If you're a wedding photographer, like I am, you need to understand some things, some rules, okay? If I were to talk to my 23-year-old self, I would say, brother, keep doing what you're doing, because the original reason why you love being an event photographer will never change, no matter how much technology gets invented. Here's the deal. If you're always pretending that you're selling yourself, you will always move 1 inch forward a day. This is so true. What I mean by this is I can't tell you how many, let's just say a smaller job or a smaller wedding, and you naturally put more pressure on yourself when people are spending more money on you. You just feel more pressure, like I want to be worth the price that they're charging. But when you do a deal for somebody and they're not paying you full price, let's say they're paying a third of your price, trying to help them, maybe you got some bills to pay, and you don't seem to have that same kind of pressure. So you go and you have fun and you're more relaxed, and you're telling yourself, I'm not sure if these people in the room are even my future clients. Because, I mean, the one I got to get in here, I had to do a third of the price. Like, that's what you're telling yourself in your head, right? I cannot tell you how many times I've been in that scenario, and there's usually one referral from that wedding that turns out to be way bigger than the original job was where I found this person. And that told me a lot about how to be in business. So here's my deal. Every single wedding I do, I dress nice. Okay? Every single job I do, I look at every face in that room as a potential lead. You never know who is looking at you because they know somebody's daughter's getting married and they're shopping. You never know. I can tell you this, however. I've had several huge opportunities come from little bitty jobs. Little, maybe clients that don't have the crazy money, but they love coming to me. They love the experience, and we just get along, and we're friends. And next thing you know, they're sending me somebody that owns $1 billion corporation, and I'm their photographer. That's the honest to God truth. So all of you newer photographers that are looking at what's maybe on Instagram or how people are dressing, there's a lot of dressing down that I'm seeing these days, which does not impress me at all. If you are trying to attract a higher paying client, I personally think you should look like you're worth the money. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I don't know about you, but I perform better when I'm dressed nicer. Like I blend in with the crowd just fine. I look as good as they do. Let's go. And it's just fun. So all of the technical side of photography and getting to be good enough to charge money is just part of it. That's just becomes like your tool for doing your job. How you present yourself in every email, when you're out in public working, how you show the world how you want them to perceive you is how they talk about you. I can't tell you how many times a bride's mom will ask me, honestly, these days, how do you dress? And I'm like, that's a damn shame. Because, back in the 90s, when it was all film, we all wore a suit and the girls wore nice dresses. And yeah, it just was what it was. Pro photography meant something. To be a pro, you need to look like a pro. That's what I was told. And I 100% agree. If you're going to a $200,000 wedding and you're in khaki pants and a white polo, I just can't relate to that. That's just me. Obviously, you do you, boo. What I can tell you is the next event you do and you're looking at all those people in that room, I want you to be aware that one of those people is looking for a photographer to hire, to pay. What are you doing on the event that makes them want to reach out to you? You know what I mean? Oh my God, I can't tell you how important that is. So back in the day when we had to buy an ad in a magazine like the Yellow Pages or a wedding magazine, which you can still do today, but the problem with the magazine is you don't know who's picking them up. You know what I'm saying? I know you're telling yourself, well, obviously a bride or a bride's mom is going to pick up the magazine. And you're like, yeah, but you don't know who is picking up that magazine. What if the magazines are located in an area that's a lower income area and everybody that's grabbing that magazine will never be your bride? What if? You don't know. I used to call that blind marketing. Paying for an ad, you get it out there, you're trusting that the magazine, the website, whatever it is that you're marketing in is going to do their job of marketing their clients, which is you paying for an ad, and you're just hoping that the phone rings. Flip the script, y'all. You have people in a room, they're not that they're trapped, but they're in that room for 3 hours at a wedding reception. and they're watching you work. You get it? You dig? That's what I'm talking about. That's why I get nervous before weddings. It's not the bride or the groom. I know I'm working for everybody there. When Aunt Susie says, hey, do you mind taking a family picture? I'm like, absolutely. Give me 2 minutes. I make it happen. People are always super shocked when I never say no. And they're like, but your clients are on the dance floor. And I'm like, and I will get there in 30 seconds. I'm covering the room, dude. I work a wedding like nobody's business. I work the room. I obviously take care of my clients. You name it. I'm just in the moment. But at the same time, I am hyper aware that I could get business from this job. So you newer photographers, I just want you to understand that and be aware that next time you're in a crowded room, don't think people don't see you just because it's a lot of people. Don't think so. You're the one with the camera. You're the one with the flash. You're the one everybody's watching work. And trust me when I tell you, people talk. People talk. So the one thing that I have been doing for 3 decades is consistency. Me being consistent, honest to God, is just being me. There's no foolery. There's nothing fake. If you see me at the store, I talk to you the same way I do if we're on the job, on the phone call, in the email. Doesn't matter. I'm a nice guy. I like to keep things professional. And most importantly, I love delivering services and products and imagery that's worth paying for. And I'm at a point in my career where I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving my work. I'm loving the gear that I'm using. I'm loving my people. I'm in a position that you 5-year, good Lord, 10, 15-year and younger businesses are not at. I have a wedding this weekend. I had one a couple weeks ago where the bride is the daughter of a bride that I photographed on year 1 in 1994. Is that crazy? That's where I am. And it's so awesome. It's a privilege and a half, honest to God, to see their daughters want to use me for their wedding photography. And let me tell you something. I want to do better. I want to be the best for them. I want to show off. I want them to have fun. I want to pull out all my little tricks that I know because I want that daughter to feel like, oh, now I know why mom got you. That was awesome. That was awesome. And then she's going to tell her bridesmaids and other friends, and hey, if you're getting married, you better call George. That's being in business, people. Being in business is not just dropping your business card somewhere. It's constantly proving that you're worth paying for. That's the hard part. The hard part is doing the work. Anybody can do a website and throw it up. Everybody has an Instagram page. Not everybody does the work. So I'm just here today to push you to be aware. I don't know why I sound like I have a frog in my throat today, but I want you to be aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it because people are paying attention to you. Okay. So whatever is going on in your life, I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to, when you leave the house, know that if you're representing your business, don't dress up in rags, gym shorts and whatever it is. Like, look good, man. When somebody sees you, I want them to kind of say, I saw that person at a wedding. I saw that girl a few weeks ago. She was awesome. She looks a little disheveled today, but obviously she's having a rough life. Like, you don't really need that, And I'm not saying wear high heels when you leave the house. I'm just saying, just be aware of yourself and how the public does perceive you because it's how they talk about you. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with one last little portion of how I need the newer generation of photographers to be. Okay. I need younger photographers to be aware of being a younger photographer. I was that guy. I loved being the new photographer. I loved everything I learned. It was like being a sponge. It was all new to me. And I had such respect for the people that I was learning from. But man, there's so many of us now in this world. I think everybody's on defensive mode instead of just being in the moment. Like I had fun learning photography. I was surrounded by, older people who's been doing this for a long time. And I just wanted to do what they're doing for the rest of my life. And if you're not a full-time photographer, if you're not earning money to the point of providing for your wife and kids, like this is your career, then you don't understand what I'm talking about right now. But that added pressure that the money that I make is paying bills, it's paying my kids' college, it's help paying food, groceries, car insurance. It's a lot. It's a lot. So you younger photographers, keep getting better. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being human, okay? But I want you to appreciate the value of what you're delivering and understand that you're worth the money. Everybody that I'm noticing that's, 10 years and younger, they're like price gouging each other. I've never seen an industry self-destruct as quick as I'm watching photography. It's the weirdest thing ever. Don't do that. Don't do that. The ones that race to the bottom are going to stay on the bottom. If you want to be like me, where this is a full-time career and you can provide for your family, remember, you attract what you show. My clients are amazing, down-to-earth people who understand the value of what I do. That's my client. I'm not trying to sneak money through anybody. Like, I'm proud to say what I cost, and they know it's worth it. And if I tell you I'm going to go a mile, I'm going to go 2. That's just me. I really do care. But I care about this industry a lot, but it's also not my job to fix the industry. I can't. One person cannot fix any kind of industry. It's just, unless you're Elon Musk, because he's actually creating the cars. Like, he has a huge effect. But if he was not creating Tesla cars, his opinion on cars wouldn't really matter. But it does now because he's making them and you're buying them. So he's invested. Same thing. I've been in this industry for 31 years. I easily have another 15 years to go before I quote unquote retire. If I ever do, who knows? I'll always be taking a picture with of something. But understand your value because it is needed more than ever. People who have the money, even middle-class people who are like me, who are, getting by month to month on bills, I still like spending my money on things that I know are worth it. That mindset of value is not gone. You know what I mean? So believe in yourself. Know that you're worth it. And as long as you're always proving yourself, you're worth it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all I got for you. All right. It's Monday. I want y'all to go have a creative day. I will see y'all. Well, I won't. You'll hear me next time. Peace.